You're watching TRT World's News Hour. Let's go to Bangladesh. More than 170 politicians, activists and musicians have written an open letter to the country's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. These are international figures, by the way, and they're asking her government to show leniency to stop what they call the persecution of the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. The statement was issued at the same time as this, a pro-Yunus demonstration. The signatories of that open letter include the former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, the billionaire businessman Richard Branson, also the lead singer of U2, Bono. They're calling on Hasina to recognise Yunus's contribution towards poverty alleviation through his microcredit financing. And for that, he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. In recent weeks, he has faced a new round of lawsuits.
The government of Sheikh Hasina Wajid turns its eyes from the looting of the banking system to the tune of 30,000 crores by one group and 11,000 crores by another, roughly 30 billion and $11 billion. And they've focused on an alleged misappropriation of a small amount of funds by Professor Yunus. It's a false accusation, which we firmly reject.
Yunus is a household name in Bangladesh. His Grameen Bank gives small loans without charging collateral, an idea that has lifted millions out of poverty and been replicated globally. Internationally, he's known as the banker of the poor, but under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's administration, Yunus has found himself in constant legal battles since 2010. 2 years after the central bank ousted him from his own Grameen Bank, the government put Yunus on trial. It was over charges of receiving money without government permission, including his Nobel Prize award and royalties from a book. In July this year, Yunus was ordered by the country's top court to pay more than $1 million in taxes. He was accused of making donations worth $7 million to charitable trusts that he owned or in which he had influence. The court ruled he evaded taxes from 2011 to 2013. Just last month, 18 former Grameen telecom workers filed a case against Yunus. They accused him of siphoning off their job benefits. The company is a non-profit organisation that Yunus chairs on a voluntary, non-compensated basis. Also in August, Yunus went on trial on charges of violating labour laws. The government has charged him, alleging discrepancies during an inspection of Grameen Telecom. Let's go to Dhaka and speak to Mohammed Kamruzaman. Mohammed, tell us first of all about Muhammad Yunus's standing in Bangladeshi society. Is he as an individual maybe more popular than the government itself?
Thank you very much, Tedwell. Actually, Dr. Muhammad Yunus is a very popular figure in this country. His role to alleviate poverty from this country, especially from urban areas to the remote rural areas of the country. Dr. Yunus is a very popular figure, and there is allegations from the supporters of Dr. Yunus that actually the ruling Awami League government chief Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is personally jealous to Dr. Yunus. These Prime Minister, you know that in 1997 there was a peace treaty in the hilly region of this country, and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina since then has been expecting for a Nobel Peace Prize, but Dr. Yunus was selected for Nobel Peace Prize. Since then, this is the allegations of his supporters that since then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is very much zealous to Dr. Yunus, and that's why the ruling Awami League government now is trying to defame Dr. Yunus and try to tarnish the image of Dr. Yunus here in the country as well as in the whole world. That's why government actually doing different steps against Yunus, and it is also the allegations of the supporters of Yunus that the courts and other administration and government departments, the Anti-Corruption Commission and other vital departments all are under the command of the government. So there is little hope for fair and transparent justice by Dr. Yunus. That's why there is huge concerns among the supporters of these Nobel Peace Laureates.
Yeah, I mean, we've outlined the latest cases against him. Mohammed, I just want to give a little bit of detail there, because those employees who were making those complaints about their jobs and about the benefits that the job was supposed to have, that's a civil complaint, and it's been turned into a criminal case by the government, it seems. The paperwork that was inspected, when they found out, the inspectors, that the employees were not getting the benefits that they were due. The inspection was carried out by the Department for Inspection of Factories and Establishments. In other words, people who come to check fire alarms and electric sockets. It just doesn't sound right. I mean, do the people of Bangladesh trust any of these processes at all? You say the judiciary may be compromised. Do the people feel exactly the same way?
Actually, you know that I'm now in capital Dhaka. Even it's not sometimes so much comfortable for me to talk frankly. However, I'm trying to answer your question. Yesterday, during the demonstrations, the speaker also said that under this government, there is huge reports of corruption, mismanagement of funds, $1 billion of funds. Actually, the government is trying to divert the attention of the world as well as the countrymen ahead of the country's next national elections by raising the issue of Dr. Yunus. Actually, there is a petty amount of money that has been alleged by the government against Yunus, against the mismanagement. This is very laughable to the supporters of Dr. Yunus, and they are accusing the government of plotting conspiracies against Dr. Yunus. Actually, you know that the elections, country's national elections, to be held in December this year or January next year, and there is crisis because people are demonstrating against the government regarding the fair elections, and all the opposition parties are accusing the government that under this administration there is no fair elections. That's why they are demanding for neutral government systems. And in this situation, Dr. Yunus may be a figure to run the country to overcome this crisis. That's why government is actually scared about this popular personality.
Mohammed Kamruzaman in Dhaka, thanks very much indeed, Mohammed.